What is up, everyone? We are back for another episode of Spin from the Reel. Once again, I am Matt, and joining me is Chris Anthony Lopez and the wonderful Alimony.
Hi,
just alimony, straight up.
It's alimony from now on. My husband's gonna love that. You guys have no idea how much he's going to love that this is now. Can we say this is? Dare I say canon at this point? Is that?
See, look. So I forget. Shout out, by the way, to all the folks watching the chat right now. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. But last week we didn't have a show. We apologize. Like we had some things going on. And Allison came to see me out here in the city.
I got to give Chris Anthony Lopez a big in-person hug, and it made my whole entire trip. It was wonderful.
Got to hang out before Allison was, she was in Wakanda for that whole evening. Not with me, though, with other people.
But I hope you don't have that picture, but if you do,
we don't. I should have. Matt, did you not see the
photo? That picture? No.
Yeah, Allison.
At first, I was like, is he trying to say the hood in a polite way?
No. Although Allison did have some strong words about where I was living. I'm kidding.
You are so goddamn it.
I'm kidding.
God damn it.
I'm kidding. Everything's fine. Everything's perfectly fine. But I'm happy to be back. We're all happy to be back here on Spin from the Reel. We do have a very special guest patiently waiting for us in the back. And I know he's jonesing to come talk to us about his past week in the MTS. But anything going on the channel, Matt, before we start?
You're going to see a ton of reviews from me this week. I'll have a review for the outfit. I will have a review for Cheap by the Dozen. Actually, it's between the next 2 weeks. I'll either this week or next week. I'll have a review for Deepwater, and I'll also have a review for Better Nate Than Ever. So, yeah, there's a lot that's going on in regards to that. And I think after the news we got today, Saber Reels is going to be happening this week because we're like, we'll see depending on what news happens. And then all the internet's losing their mind because they found out Darth Maul got cut from Kenobi. So, yeah.
What? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
JK. Hey, Luke, Joe Burrows, Jeremy Miller, Kaylee, William Harold. So good to see you guys.
Kaylee's a new name in the chat. Welcome.
Yeah, Kaylee Vaughn. What's
Kaylee's
good? I haven't
great.
seen your name before in the chat.
Right.
Kaylee's
good.
Wonderful.
What's going on, Jeremy? I appreciate
Kaylee.
the love. I had to put, a little suit jacket on for our guest, a little scarf ski. Had to drink some vino. The sunglasses are just an extra touch. But
Chris, I'll let you introduce our guest.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, we've had this man on our show before, a long time ago. And
I can't remember the last time I was this excited about having.
Allison has been very excited ever since.
So stoked about it.
Booked this guest. Allison said multiple times, guys, I'm so excited to talk to this person. And honestly, so are we. Like, we had him on the first time, and it was a completely different set of circumstances. He was with the exchange at that point. We had him on with one of my best friends in the whole entire world, King Khan. We had them both on at the same time. But now many things have changed. Spectaculars came and went. Here we are. Week 2 of Titans, and he is one half of the 1-0 ruling class. He is the king of the Tyrant. It's Ty Lieberman. Ty, what's good? Welcome back.
Oh, hello. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, you have brought me back. I mean, Scott Hall is dead, and you're still doing a show. I don't know.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace to Razor
R.I.P.
Ramon.
He would want us to keep going. He would want us to keep moving on.
Scott Hall, William Hurt, and then who's the third one going to be? That's what we're here to find out.
Probably going to be me.
We'll find out.
One of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, Allison, it's wonderful to meet you, and I look forward to going back to all the people you interviewed to let them know that you were not as excited to talk to them as you were to talk to me.
Do it.
Do you mind if I have some? I just have a small glass of wine that I would like to be drinking, if that's okay with you.
Go ahead.
I think at this point, a lot of folks may not know you without a glass of wine within the vicinity.
No, well, part of it was during COVID. If you were drinking or eating, you didn't have to wear a mask, so you just try to always eat like a hot dog or drink a beer or something, and then you wouldn't have to wear one. I'm not saying that you shouldn't I mean, you should wear one, but part of it was I wanted people to see my face, so I need to have a little wine in my hand in order to do that.
Of course.
It's a
Makes
great
sense.
way of saying I just want to drink as much wine as I possibly can. But
Sure.
Ty, it's a pleasure to have you back on the program.
They tell us, they send emails. They say, don't drink before your matches. You don't want anybody drunk on the set. And then we just kind of just drink and see if they catch us, and they haven't said anything yet. So we're all
as long as you're drunk,
just kind of acting.
Yeah, I mean, as long as
Whitney. I'm not sure Whitney's had a drink in 6 years, but he was drinking during our match, and it was it was good.
You guys are wonderful, by the way. I am 100% a ruling class stan. I came into Schmodown. I know I say all the time, but I came in during digital within the last year, back in June. So watching you became instantly one of my favorite rookies. Just the whole exchange was so fun to be a part of. So this is really fun for me, for sure.
No, I mean, I signed up for the live performance, the live aspect. We had a couple digital matches, which I enjoyed, but it's nice to be able a couple times last year in the cantina and now in the studio. It's nice to be able to spread my wings wide, so to speak, and not be sitting on my couch answering questions, so
nowhere near as fun.
It's nice. So thank you for being a fan. I'm not used to having fans, and you're not supposed. You're also not supposed to be a fan. You're technically not supposed to like me.
What are you gonna do?
It's all right. We'll cry about it later.
That's your choice.
Here's the thing: words of affirmation is my love language, so I assume it's everybody else's.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Okay.
I'll say this: I love the representation that is the team, because I know both you and Whitney are members of the LGBTQ community. So
yes, we a lot of people when they paired us together, they have a lot in common, or that's a good pairing. Or, yeah, just say it. Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I think you guys play off of each other so well.
Yes.
And clearly you have your knowledge and your skill set is, I mean, you had perfect round one, but pretty awesome.
Right. And see,
yes.
we have a ton of things that we'd love to talk to Ty about, but we only have so much time with him tonight. And we do have a little bit of a wheel to bring up, and we do have a plethora of slices.
Might look a little bit familiar to you, Ty. We'll see.
You did, yeah. I was thinking I've had five matches in the Schmodown, and I've yet to spin a slice that I put on there. So I'm expecting tonight to be the sixth time in a row where I'm going to get something I don't want, but it's okay.
Yeah, but
you know what? It's perfectly fine. Matt, what have you got on the wheel tonight, brother?
I was just about
one
to say,
one day I'll get there.
Yeah. So as always, we have the wild card, which I don't know who this week is off the top of my head. Allison. So everybody be on the lookout, because Alamody always has something crazy up her sleeve. Then we have cutting ties. Chris, explain that one real quick.
We'll explain that when we get there. If we get there.
Then we have ruling class spoils plot twist, MTS Fashion Week, Wheel Slice of the Week, Sam v. the Barbarian, Let's Talk About Storyline, and Mr. Irwin Shuts Down the Machine.
So we're going to try and do about, 3 or 4 of these?
Yes, we're going to try to do three with Ty on screen is what we're aiming for. And then when Ty leaves, we will do a 4th one, because we're trying to keep him in our time limit. So, Chris, my internet's going down, so I'm just going to go in the back for a minute and just try to do audio.
Yeah.
And control the wheel. So
that's fine. Let's get that wheel a whirl, dude, as some of our favorite MTS personalities would say. So, Matt, whenever you're ready, man. Thank you so much. Cutting ties doesn't sound as dangerous as it does, Ty.
I was gonna say I have some fancy white carpet. I'm not cutting MTS Fashion.
We're doing MTS Fashion Week. This is brought to you by Allison Salamoni. Yes. Allison, you want to explain what it is real quick?
Yes. So what I have here for MTS Fashion Week, as we know, Ty, especially now with you and Whitney, one of the big things about the ruling class is you all are very stylish. You bring style, you bring class. And some people in the MTS bring fantastic style and some not so much. So figure little panel style will pull up a couple of the best and the worst fashion in MTS and just have some comments and state our
I think
opinions.
there's some people. I mean, my very first impression, because you asked, thank you. A team like Shazam, they're wearing the same thing every time.
Sure.
And there's some people who, if they're not wearing the exact same thing, they have a pretty narrowly defined set of things that they wear. And I'd like to think that you'll never see me in the same thing twice. So
I hope not.
I think that in itself is a key, but it depends on the character. Some characters in the Schmodown, they're going to wear the same thing no matter what. And I don't think we can judge those people necessarily. But the ones who have the option to choose different outfits and still fail, ooh, let's take a look.
Yes, let's take a look. And might as well start with somebody who you actually competed against this past Friday. I want to focus more so on the person on the right by chance. And his name is Brandon, formerly the Hitman Hannah. Can you give me your first impressions on this whole get up from what was supposedly the third man?
He looks like something from Bob Fosse's Nightmare.
Oh my God.
So you're not a fan. You're not a fan of.
It's just I'm not sure what production of Cats he was just left in order to do this match. But it's kind of a weird look. Didn't get the Green Hornet thing until about 2/3 the way through the match, even though it was explained to me several times before that. But again, if that's his thing, I mean, he's welcome to that. Everyone needs a gimmick, but looks a little bit like that. Looks a little bit like the Hamburglar trying to get a French fry.
And we do have a couple of Hamburglers in the chat. William Harold. We have Leo Logan mentioned the Hamburglar. Being and they called him the Hitman. We already forgot that we changed to the Hornet.
He's no longer the Hitman. He's the Hornet.
Ken Knapsack introed him as the Hitman. So, so we will also.
Yeah. Oh, they said, yeah. Well, okay. Well, people, that's a hard habit to break. But I mean, if I see that guy coming at me, I'm walking the other way. Like, I don't know how many people he's going to really sneak up on, looking like that. You kind of want to be a little more sneaky. He was more like a cat burglar, just a hamburger or something like that. But I don't know. I appreciate. I did some avant-garde theater in college in my day, so I'm fine with that. That look. But he's just.
You're fine with it. It's fine.
Fine. It's fine.
He's just basically 2 matches away from being a mime.
Duly noted. Well, speaking of people that dress up, someone who is very keen on dressing up for matches is Chandru Dandapani. And I pinpointed this one. It's a twofer. It's someone who dresses up, but not anymore, and Mike Kalinowski and Chandru Dandapani. Mike going with the black on black, a little bit of Harley Quinn with the Robin on the right side of the screen with Chandru and Winston. Are you a fan of Chandru's multiple get-ups?
Yes, I do. I think it's important to dress for the occasion, and the fact that Chandru has. Well, this is an interesting one because I think both their clothes suit them very well. Mike, I don't know how old Mike is, but once you get a little silver in your hair, you tend to be a little more conservative with how you dress. And I think he's picked up on that, and I think he's looking good in that suit. And then Chandru, by changing his appearance all the time, I think that's the right look for him. Someone who might be a little more insecure with his own personality and needs to express himself that way. So to be honest with you, Chandru and Mike, I would put both as A's in my book.
Okay.
Allison,
for different reasons.
But Allison, what are your 2 cents on Mike and Chandru's gimmicks?
I think that with Chandru, you're getting kept on your toes. So depending on the outfit or the costume of choice, it seems like it can get into some people's heads because it's very distracting. I'm pretty sure I have undiagnosed ADD or ADHD in my mid 30s, and I would be so distracted. So clearly he's doing something with it. But Mike, we all know how much of a Bond fan he is, and Batman, and his the Bruce Wayne. So looking dapper. I mean, I think there's a few other people that pull off the suit a little bit better, but
Okay.
Mike Kalinowski's always looking fresh, always looking fly.
Yeah, he's always looking fresh. Always looking fresh.
Always. Yes. And see, Matt, any 2 cents before we move on to our next my
internet's done acting up, it seems like, so that's all I care about.
Word. And I kind of want to go back to someone else who was a part of this match as well, but not competing.
We also want to comment that Winston looked absolutely ridiculous in that picture. We're not talking about him at all.
Word.
Like,
Okay.
it's one like for Chandru, it's organic. For Winston, it's a little sad. Like Chandru's doing his thing. Winston is trying to do Chandru's thing, and there's a difference there between those two.
We need to address the best dress though in that picture, and typically always the best dress whenever she's around, and that is manager Shannon Barney.
Oh, she's back there. Yes, yeah.
100%. Yeah, she's yeah. Ty, okay. Moving on.
If Princess Vanellope is your thing.
Oh. Okay.
Chris, go to the next one.
Andrew Guy was a part
Look
of
at
this
baby
match
Guy
on the commentator desk with Mark Ellis, but him and Ben Bateman, speaking of suits, they also used to rock the suits and they were part of Team Action.
Right.
Ty, any 2 cents on Andrew Guy's choice in the apparel? This was his go-to when competing.
I think they're both handsome men and they look handsome in suits. I'm concerned that it affects their play because they look I'm not sure they look comfortable in the suit is the problem. I've seen Andrew in a blazer with the t-shirt. He's in same thing with Ben, and they seem more comfortable with the t-shirt under the blazer rather than with the full suit. So though I do think they look impressive, I wonder if it hindered, and maybe that's the reason they're not together anymore as a team, is perhaps they were choking out some of their knowledge with their tight collars when they could have looked just as cool but a little more laid back.
Oh, that hurts, Chris. That hit Chris in the soul.
Ty's bringing in. I mean, Ty would know. If anyone would know about the movie trivia side of this and the lights being under the lights in front of a crowd,
it's got to be hot.
It's Ty.
I'm surprised. I feel like I'm surprisingly good at this wheel slice. I didn't expect too much.
Ty's like, wait, wheel slice where I can take shots at fashion? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
I was skeptical for a minute. This is fun.
No, you're it.
We're crushing. We got a couple more, and we got time for a few more. I want to go to a couple people that you used to be in a faction with.
Okay.
And the first one, he's gotten a lot of shit for wearing the same jacket over and over and over again, and I never found out what your 2 cents were on it. But with Goal Leader.
What a picture, Chris.
I tried to be as unflattering as possible, and this was
it's more of a cape than a jacket, because a jacket you can close.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh.
And we do, that's our friend of the show.
Evan
Sure. He's a good, very good friend of all of us. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I love it.
But the gold cape as a tyrant.
It is, and it's also, I'm guessing that's a very difficult jacket to wash also. I mean, just shrinkage aside, I don't know if you have to get that dry cleaned or how you take care of that. But again, I understand why some people wear the same thing every time, but that's not me. And if he had other jackets, I don't think anyone would mind seeing that. He is Gold Leader though, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's true. I love William, just kind of to go back to the Team Action with the suit, William Harold, that tight suit made Ben say Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I guess. Yep. And see, like Ty's out here adding all this extra analysis to it that we would never, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know.
Never would
have
known.
And that's why when Allison pitched this, we're like, we got to do it. Like we just
Chris,
absolutely have to.
Go to another faction. I got 8.
My other faction mates for this one, because we do have a twofer for someone before we end, but I want to bring this person.
There's
up.
also another one in there.
It's Griffey Nooms. Talk about someone who's worn the same get up every time we've seen him. Were you a fan of the pink gloves?
I think it worked. I think it worked well for him. I think his level of I think if you're confident enough, there's some people that can just pull off any outfit, and I think Griffin is one of those people. I actually don't know what Griffin's normal day-to-day attire would be. I don't think he walks around New York looking like that, but he might. But I think the pink and going to pick a color that bold and to own it like that, I think that's a key thing. He doesn't have to wear the jacket. He can change. He could have a pink bandana on one day or a pink handkerchief in his pocket. He's more adept by picking a color. He has allowed himself more flexibility in his outfit. And I think with his level of confidence, he can pull almost anything off.
Duly noted. And before we move on, we have a couple more minutes left with this little wheel slice, but I want 3 more pictures to pull up so I can show Ty. The first one is a faction, or now a new team that we found out at the end of this past week's Titans. It's JTE and Paul Preston. Very loud with their attire this time around, especially for JTE.
Oh, no.
Matt may not be a fan, but Ty, are you?
It's nice that they're doing a sequel to The Nice Guys, but I'm not sure I would have cast those two in those roles.
Duly noted. And our last two.
Why did they make JTE look like a homeless pimp?
I don't know.
This is before this is how he showed up. I think. I think I think Paul was the one who had to scramble to be like, how do I match this?
And in my opinion, I thought he crushed it.
Paul killed it.
JTE's energy.
Paul's a sneaky good performer, I think.
Oh, 100%. But last two are actually the same person. Your former manager, Ty. First up, we have speaking of pink, we have this picture. Of one Bobby Gucci.
Yeah.
It's the way to put it. Yes. And we have an earlier photo of Bobby Gucci as well, in a different state of mind. It's almost night and day, these two pictures of Bobby Gucci.
No, it's night and night. I don't want to say I think that it really brings up the importance of someone like Zefferton Flaus, who is style forward, style conscious, to have someone on your team. Mm-hmm. Like there's a difference between style and just not buying clothes. And I think Gucci's style is more a lack of purchases rather than a particular mindset.
Well, and you brought up the Flaus and his style. I feel like we saw a little bit of Jillian with you guys as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was definitely part of that first match. She was part of the winning formula that won that match. But is she part of the team? Is she part of the faction? Am I on a faction? Am I on a team? What's going on? I don't know.
you just show up.
I just show up. I think Jillian's a good person to have around, and we'll see. We'll see if she's part of the group. I don't know right now. Anyone could be part of the group.
Well,
duly noted.
Ty, someone I think you know.
Dan and Mara could show up next week and part of the. I don't know. Maybe. The flirting faction? I don't know. House of Flaus? I'd be House of Flaus.
House of
Flaus. House of Flaus.
I think that would be the theoretical faction name, but there's no official faction yet. And Jillian is a friend of Flaus at the moment.
There we go.
Well, Ty, I think someone you know wanted to talk to you.
Oh no, he owes me money. What is it?
Forward me the Flaus's dossier.
Forward me the Flaus's dossier.
The Flaus's dossier is the little packet they will come with the CD. Because our
his dossier is Microsoft Encarta. I don't know. I don't know what he. I don't know if he's put anything together. I mean, we kind of recruited him more than anything else, and I'm not saying I'm trying to use the Furton Flowers, but again, I feel like I can handle between me and Whitney. I think we can handle the trivia aspect of this pretty well. What we need is someone with the cunning administrative talents of Furton Flowers. Unlike everyone else on the Finstock Exchange last year, no one had a belt, but Furton Flowers did. FCL belt for many, many weeks. So he knows how to navigate the backstage of the Schmodown, and that's who I want as a manager. So Dossier, I don't know.
Does he really though? Does he really? As someone who works for the FCL,
does he really? We had a match on the second episode ever of Friday Night Titans, a rookie last year, someone and Whitney who hadn't had a match in a couple of years because John Kaiser forgot he was on his faction last year. The fact that we were put up in that position, that's the Flouse. That's the impact that the Flouse can have.
It's valid.
I've been on both episodes of Friday Night Titans. I had a scene at the end of the first one. I had a match in the second one. How many other people can say that? Not a lot. I mean, Ethan, sure, but Ethan's been in the league for 6 years. This is the difference that Flouse makes. He takes people that, I'm not going to say, as much as I think I have a top ability, not the top name on the call sheet, and now we're right there. That's the Flouse.
Dare I say, now it's become Friday Night Titans. Dare I say it? Dare I say it? But before we move on, I do want to point out this comment from Leo Logan that JTE looks like Discount Ali G. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
And yes, the Paul Preston. The
THE Paul Preston.
Yes. Word.
Ali G flap.
So
I love it.
Now, moving on to our next slice, we're going to spin that wheel once again because that was the hit. That was a hit. Good job, Allison.
I know what.
You're welcome. I'm out. You guys have a good night.
We're going to talk about movie trivia hopefully at some point tonight, guys. But we're having fun. We're having a good time. As long as Ty's having a good time.
No,
let's do it again, baby.
Bring it back around.
Well, Chris, there was one you missed.
It's a cape. Sorry, yeah, I was gonna say it's a cape unless you can close it. That was gonna just repeat the.
Hey,
word.
There we go.
The ruling class spoils the plot twist.
Yeah, so it's our match. All right.
Yeah,
let's talk about some movie trivia. Look, Ty, first of all, it was a pleasure to see you back on screen. I know last time I got to talk to you, that's when you really got you found your footing and your role within this whole space. I want to say it was during the singles tournament and towards the end of last year, folks really got a piece of what the Tyrant can bring and folks wanted more. And
they wanted more. Yes, they wanted more, but you end up on the faction of the year.
Faction of the year. Yes,
you end up falling in the depth chart to King Khan and the Rager because they're both continuing to do so well. So you want to keep giving, but at the same time, you're like, you're kind of like, where am I? Where am I in this hierarchy? So sometimes you gotta escape your chain.
But now you're teaming up with Whitney Seibold again, someone who's been in the league for a few years now.
The depth chart last year, just like yourself.
Right, but now, how was it in the match? I know we'll talk about the little pieces that happen within it, but how was it just vibing off of Whitney throughout the entirety of the match from round 1 to 3? Because y'all went down to your 5.
I think it was all dependent on the fact that he kept getting everything right. It's possible that if he started missing questions, our chemistry would have looked a lot worse because I would have been thinking about ways to push him away. But he got everything right in round 1. He's the one who pulled the 5-pointer. He was the A player that day for sure. So I think our chemistry is, if we have chemistry, it's me just admiring him so far. He did such a good job in that first match.
Don't discount yourself, man, because
I did
went perfect in round 1.
You both went perfect in round 1. Wow. You got that 20.
Very
Well, he
impressive.
knew the bonus, but that's why he's there. He's there to watch the horror movies for me because I get too scared to watch them myself.
Oh my God, me too. I don't like getting scared when you can just jump around from around the corner and say boo and scare the shit out of me for free. Why would I go pay for it?
Right. Why are
no reason to.
and then let's watch 10 of them.
Yeah.
Why
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And very early on in the match, Ty, you had this real quick comment towards plot twist where you said you were essentially they were finding their chemistry within one another, like seeing how they were vibing with each other as the second team in the Quirky Works. And you were saying like, oh, like they're not going to last a couple weeks because of just how they were in the first few questions within the match.
I don't believe that's what I said at all. I believe I said their gimmick was tired after a couple of questions.
There you go. See, which is even worse than what I just said.
I think the team, plot twist played well.
Yeah,
totally. That was a strong team. Those were good opponents.
With someone who played on
IG. This was the first time I had seen those two as a pair also, and I just was bored by the circumstances. That's all. But in terms of their ability to survive as a team, I don't think that's in question. I think they'll be fine, especially if Shazam continues to hold the belts. Someone's got to, participate in tournaments and such for that team.
There you go. Absolutely.
But no, I don't think they're a temporary team. They're just a little I don't know.
Allison, you had something?
I was just going to say, I mean, if you guys continue to play the way that you did against, plot twist and carry that throughout the season, I don't see why there's not a possibility for you guys to get that shot at those title belts and really give Shazam a run for the money. Maybe another.
I don't think it's out of the. Yeah, I don't think it's out of the question at all. I think season 9 is the reboot. So sure, we're a new team, and yes, there are other more qualified teams who you've seen before, but that doesn't mean that they should be ahead of us. I don't know why they're ahead of us when we had a reboot. We're 1-0. We both have a reason to want to get a little bit of revenge on Bibiani. And I think the league's a little tired of them having the belts all the time. I don't know why we won't be in the title picture real soon.
Change is a good thing.
Old words.
Yeah. I had a fun time watching Spectacular, but let me tell you, I'd have an even more fun time if one of those belts has changed hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throw it out there.
It's the reboot.
It's
the reboot. Who are the champions? All the people from before.
All the same people. I think
all the same people. Yeah.
I think my husband said it best when
somebody's gotta do the booting. We'd like to be the ones to boot some of these champions away.
See, and another comment you had in regards to the Young Guns question. I don't know if it's appropriate if we can talk about this.
Go for it.
That Young Guns are the reason to walk around Westwood in the summer. Can you elaborate?
Yes.
Can you elaborate for me?
Yes, but I would like to know what you think it means first.
Well, I'm not from the area. I'm here in Chicago, Illinois, nowhere near Westwood.
Do you know what Westwood is?
I don't.
West Hollywood.
Oh, West Hollywood. See,
that's not. No.
Oh,
Westwood.
See, okay. So
Westwood is a incorporated area of Los Angeles, which is home to UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you're walking around UCLA in the summertime,
yeah,
I
get to see the Young Guns.
I see. I get it now.
Ooh,
that's
even better.
That's the thing.
Even better.
But if you don't live in LA, it's a little confusing. Yeah.
See, and I didn't, and I was wondering, like, because they got a good laugh out of the folks in the peanut gallery. Got a very good laugh out of them. It took
there was a pause. Well, there was a pause while they dissected it, and then there was a laughter. But
nothing better than of a joke for a minute there. I always love it.
I had said right state or something. Maybe you would have got it. I don't know.
See, and I just figured I wrote it down like, I wonder if Ty can elaborate for me. Because again, not from the area, from the opposite side of the country. And I was just wondering, because folks thought it was
what
very
I would like
funny.
to think is if I ever say something that you don't understand, it's you.
No, totally. I
God.
figured it was
Yeah.
me. Like, it was definitely
Yeah.
me problem. That's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just want to make sure it wasn't any deeper than what was, intended. But just Young Guns,
You're the best.
UCLA in the summer.
No, it's there. It's all. There's no like. I mean, that's what it was. Young Guns.
Yeah, and
Getting their Jimmy Johns and their.
God.
I love it.
Oh God.
This is fantastic. I just love how it comes up, Matt.
it was just a simple question. I didn't think it was Ty. Was that out of line?
Nobody said it was out of line.
It was just
No.
Okay.
No,
Sweet.
I think there are multiple people watching this who also didn't understand what I meant. So
and now we have clarification. I think that's
clarity.
fantastic.
Now you do. Yeah, I think it's a very fair question to ask.
Clarity.
Wonderful.
Clarity.
So yeah, so you guys crush it. You go, you get, the 20 points in the round one, and then Whitney comes up with the bonus, and then you go up to your wheel spin, right? And we get, what was Chris? You took notes. I watched it Friday.
They got scores and soundtracks.
Scores and soundtracks.
We spun Ice Cube and talked about it, and we just said no. We had a little talk ahead of time what we didn't want. And I think we maybe should have thought of that more often, because Ice Cube, I think anytime you get a narrow slice with one person, a narrow number of films, I think that's a wiser approach. I don't know why we decided Ice Cube was one person that we didn't want, because we ended up with, we were fine with a lot of the other categories, I guess is the thing. Like Harry Potter, we're good with. We'd have been good with Tim Burton, Margot Robbie, I think were the other ones on there. We got scores and soundtracks, one of the biggest categories you can get. So
right.
I think it was a mistake to spin away from a narrow slice. So that's something that we'll have to discuss before our next match, whether or not we want to think about that strategy a little bit more.
And y'all had just had an Ice Cube question in the first round with the Friday question.
Yeah, we picked the day between Thursday and Saturday. Yes, that
was that the easiest question you've ever heard in the Schmodown?
I almost asked for a repeat because it was so easy.
That was the easiest question I've ever seen.
I was almost like, is it a sequel? Are they trying to trick me? This seems a little too easy. But no, that was the question, and we all got it. And I'm fine. I'm fine answer any question that I answer correctly. I think I look good, but you ask Thursday and Saturday, between Thursday and Saturday, what day is it? I'm look stupid up there. And not as stupid as I would if I didn't know it, but I got that question. I thought there were some questions that were really easy, some that were kind of easy, and some that were, I thought, pretty good polls that I had in round one.
Yeah,
for sure. I like Leo Logan's comment here. I was very, very excited to get the Vision Quest question correct, just because I love that movie. I was a wrestling manager in high school, so watched that movie all the time. So I was sitting there again watching with my husband, and I threw my hand up there. I went, Vision Quest. And he goes, "How the fuck do you know that movie?"
No, Madonna's in that movie.
She is. Yeah, she's performing in the bar.
Yeah, she performs in the bar. Yeah, so that's how that triggered it for me. And then
But I mean,
that was one of those things where you want to talk to your teammate, but your conversation with your teammate is just you going, I'm about to yell Vision Quest, so just be prepared.
You don't worry about it. I got this. I got this. Let me get this.
Don't worry about it.
Like, this is my one. And Jeremy Miller brings up the Baby Driver soundtrack.
I was shocked you guys missed that, because I was like, I can see those scenes in my head.
So the thought process was, Last Night in Soho had just come out, and there were three songs that they mentioned, and one of them had to do with bell bottoms, and one of them had to do with Brighton, which is a city in England, and that put me in a particular time and place, like 60s England, and I was the one who was like, I think it's this, yes. And as soon as we said it, it was like, well, this could honestly be any Edgar Wright movie, couldn't it? And then once it was wrong, it's like, it's probably the one that's known for being having that soundtrack because that's such an important point of that film. Maybe they won't get it. Like maybe because we didn't go to multiple, and then they got it right away. So no, that was humbling, but we fought through it.
Yes, without a doubt.
For sure.
Because I was like in my head, because I'm like, oh, they got this, no issue, and I was like, oh, okay.
We were very confident in our wrong answer, which was the sad part. We were both good with it. It just once we said it out loud, it's like, well, it actually could be every other Edgar Wright.
Every other Edgar Wright.
It could even be it could be Ant-Man as far as it might even be Ant-Man. We don't even. Who knows? Yeah.
Right, that version of Ant-Man that the world will unfortunately never see, or maybe fortunately.
Maybe it was streaming, so it counts. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, now that we got these streaming movies in here, how do you feel about that?
Well, these are movies that I've been watching a lot for the last few years, so it's a little tough to keep the kissing booths and all the boys I've loved straight. But I think once you get over that, I think remain like Power of the Dog and Roma are two streaming movies. Like there's high quality films here that I'm already familiar with, regardless of whether or not I was studying for them or not. So I think I'll benefit from having this category. I see a lot of trailers on Netflix. I've watched all those videos that they show you on Netflix when they come through. So
I'll tell you what, I can't wait for Adam.
I think Advantage Tyrant for the streaming.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Adam Project question to come out on that slice, because that movie was awesome.
I had a good time.
Was awesome or awful?
Awesome. It's like a wholesome. It's wholesome. It's not made to be like this amazing. It's a cute little sci-fi family film that you just feel good. It's feel good after. It's similar to a similar feeling I had to seeing Free Guy, who was made by the same director. Funny enough, so.
The Adam Project, that's definitely something that I might be watching the second the show ends, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
It's on our queue as well, so we'll see how long this goes.
Meanwhile, my Netflix queue is all the trash reality TV, aka Love Is Blind, and
I wish I could berate you, Allison, but I'm also part of those conversations. Okay, moving on to round 3. I kind of want to skip to the 5.
You promised me 3 wheel spins, and I've seen 2. I want the third wheel.
We're gonna get to the third one.
We got round 3.
We're gonna get to the third one, but I want to talk about that 5-pointer Black Cinema, because again, y'all spun away from Ice Cube earlier in the match, and even though y'all did come away with the W, and y'all were a little bit hesitant. This soul food question, right? And you made it sound like it was a lot of bit Whitney in regards to pulling. No,
he knew it immediately, and it was 60 seconds of me trying to see if I could talk him out of it, and then him just being like, "No, what are you doing? Stop this!" And then finally, we're like, "Oh, let's do it." So it looked a lot more dramatic in person because of the times and the repeats, but he locked into that right away, and it was just a matter of me learning to trust him and be like, okay, normally I'm the one who needs to come up with something like this. You say you have it. Okay. I believe you, sir. And 100% he was correct.
And is that something
I know Soul Food as a Showtime series. I remember, but I don't remember it being from a perspective of a child. That's what threw me off, is that I didn't realize that it was from a 11-year-old boy was the one who was telling the story.
And was that your big takeaway from this match? Just learning how to, the whole team strategy part with Whitney, who's been a part of successful teams before.
Yes,
I'm assuming that was your big takeaway from the 1-point victory. It was a close one.
I think it looks, if you look at it, I think we had a natural chemistry up there, but again, that was part of it is because we were doing well. If we had been doing poorly, we may not have looked like we had a chemistry. We may have just been frustrated with each other. But I do think the first match with a new partner, you need to figure out what this person knows. You need to figure out how comfortable you are with him. And I exceeded my expectations in both regards. Very comfortable, very happy with the partner that I have, Whitney Seibold, in the ruling class.
Ruling class is going to dominate this year. I just got to say.
I'm so stoked. I can't wait.
It's a good name, right? That was
Yes,
that's
it
another
is.
one. That was
Such a
his
good
name.
name.
That was Whitney's name. So he's all over this.
Great name. Great team name.
And
sure.
as much as we would like to please, the people who we
I
contacted.
suggested the aristocrats, and they didn't. No, I didn't.
The ruling class. I think y'all have a hit, but we were allotted a certain time, but we also promised Ty that we're gonna do 3 wheel spins.
Yes.
So we got to do a third one, and we're gonna do it right now. Is it more movie trivia? Who knows? Are we gonna cut some ties? Who knows? Is it a wild card? Who knows? Matt, let's spin it. And Peggy mentioned in the chat the Chicago scarf. Ty, what's on your scarf?
Oh, this is
damn, this wheel just wants to repeat today. Holy hell.
What is this scarf? Oh, this is from it does say Chicago, so yes, Peggy, it's from Chicago.
What the hell?
I think this is I think the Barbarian went to a Bears-Rams game, and all he got me was this scarf. I think this is a Barbarian gift that is 80% Rams, but of course Peggy sees what she wants to see, which is the word Chicago on the
Yeah.
The second Peggy put Chicago in the chat, my scarf is also Chicago Bears.
I will say I've been given a lot of scarves in the last like 18 months.
They're good. Yeah, you look good in a scarf, Ty. I like it. There we go.
Ties.
So here you got the one you wanted. There we go. What does this mean?
I was ready to just throw my computer away if that.
I did see all the failed repeat wheel spins.
I felt like this is why we got the spinner's choice all year last year, Chris.
Right, 1,000%. Now we see why.
Makes sense now. All the spinners and opponent's choices just on that weighted wheel.
So, Ty, before we let you go, I want to play this little fun game with you that we're all going to participate in.
Yes.
All 4 of us. It's called Cutting Ties.
Chris,
And I promise no physical harm. And if this game sucks, it's 100% my fault.
Who are these? Why is there a red thing? Why is there a red dot on my forehead? What is going on?
And we'll talk about that later, Ty. So what's going to happen is that I wrangled a bunch of famous Tys and Tylers from pop culture. And what we're going to do is either we're going to cut them or we're going to keep them.
Okay.
Simple as that. And for those in the chat who don't know who these people are, I do have a little bit of a rundown just in case y'all don't know who these folks are. Perfectly fine. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7. So we'll run through these as quickly as we can. So we can
I would like to say, as someone who has been studying Tylers in pop culture my whole life, the name Tyler, I really feel like has picked up in the last 2 years as a character in shows. There's lots of Tylers, even just Turning Red. I just watched Turning Red on Sunday.
I just watched it today.
Well, Tyler, there was even a poster that said no Tyler. So I'm like, we got to get that. So I'm trying to like, I think Tyler's having a little bit of a renaissance the last couple of years as a film character, but please present your list.
Go ahead, Chris.
So first off, I feel like we're going to go with a little bit of a safe choice. Emmy winning Ty Burrell of Modern Family fame. Yeah. Guys, are we going to cut him or are we going to keep him?
Oh, I'm keeping him. I think he's hilarious. I love Ty Burrell.
Okay, Allison, we're keeping Ty Burrell. Matt Thomas, you're cutting Ty Burrell. You don't like Ty Burrell?
I love Modern Family. He's my least favorite part of it. All right.
Oh my
wow.
Wow.
Okay. And
again, everyone, the opinions of Matt Thomas are his
I just
solely
said I love
and
Modern
do
Family.
not represent that of Spin from the Reel.
Ty Lieberman, how do you feel about Ty Burrell?
I think you got to keep him. Not only is he great in Modern Family, he was hilarious in the one season of the Kelsey Grammer show Back to You. And he should have been a star from a failed sitcom pilot called Lip Shit Save the World with Leslie Nielsen, where Ty Burrell played the devil and was one of the funniest performances I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I just show didn't get picked up. I was like, I wonder what's going to happen to this guy. And suddenly he's on Modern Family for 11 years. So big keep for Ty Burrell.
Big keep for Ty Burrell from Ty Lieberman. William Harold in the chat says keep as well. I am not too familiar on Modern Family, but the parts I've seen were from Ty Burrell, and I very much enjoyed his bits. Yeah, Ty Burrell. I will also keep
Ty your bits.
Yes,
it sounds like you've been to Westwood in the summertime.
Yeah, with Ty Burrell, watching UCLA football.
The bits.
Speaking of folks who are on TV, I think they're both on the same network, or they have been. Tyler James Williams is the next Tyler I'm going to bring up. He's currently on Abbott Elementary, and he was the bane of my existence in middle school because everybody hates Chris.
Was he a mayor on a show once? Another sitcom? Is that
no? I know what show you're thinking about, where the black social media influencer was picked to be mayor. I know
the mayor, and that's so okay. That's not the same actor. Okay,
no, not the same actor.
So, Matt Thomas, are we keeping or cutting Tyler James Williams?
Oh, I'm keeping Tyler James Williams. You got Everybody Hates Chris. He was good on Walking Dead when he was on it. And then Abbott Elementary is just phenomenal and the best show on television right now if you are not watching it. And if you didn't see earlier today, it was picked up for season 2. So hallelujah.
You know, you mentioned The Walking Dead. I was a fan of his stint on there as well. He was also
got ripped to shreds by zombies, and it was like, oh, they killed a black guy gruesomely, of course.
Oh yeah. But he was also on the Disney Channel original movie Let It Shine. From my that's something that I was a big fan of growing up. But also he was the reason why everybody hated me.
He's the kid from Everybody Hates Chris. That's what.
Yes,
what he is.
He is Chris from Everybody Hates Chris. Yes.
All right. Well, I have no reason. I'm not too familiar with his work. I'm not going to cut someone I'm not going to cut someone just because I don't know who they are. All Tylers deserve a chance, so I will keep him, but I do not have a lot to add to the conversation.
Duly noted. Allison, how we feel?
Yeah, same. I don't know much that he's done, so I don't want to cut someone just because I don't know him. I want to make new friends, and I'll check out Abbott Elementary for sure. Always looking for something good to watch.
You guys are too damn nice.
You'll binge through it. That shows beautifully.
So we'll do a couple more. Moving on to Tyler Perry.
Caught him.
Oh,
Tyler. Oh God.
I don't care that he was in Star Trek 2009. Cut him. If you know anything about his business practices, he is despicable. Cut him.
Wow.
Okay.
Very much. Allison, how do you feel about Tyler Perry?
I don't want Matt to yell at me, so I'm going to cut him.
Oh, okay. This got very hostile very quick. I did not know this was going to happen. Ty Lieberman, how do you feel about Tyler Perry?
The Schmodown PR team just said cut him, so I'm going to just
Word. Okay.
Susan popped up in his ear and said,
I don't want there to be a clip of me being like, actually, and then going into it.
Yeah, it's like I met him one time, and
we'll just cut him. Let's just cut him.
There's a lot of bad there that you don't know. Chris.
Cutting Tyler Perry, and just in case, what was that? The Schmodown PR team also told me to cut Tyler Perry, so we're also going to cut Tyler Perry.
Cool.
Yes, wow, that got very hostile very fast. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, Tyler Heckland is the next one I want to pull up. He is currently Superman on Superman and Lois, formerly of Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, yeah, Teen Wolf.
Yes. So Tyler Heckland, Allison, are we going to keep him or are we going to cut him?
Oh, we're keeping him.
The way she said
we like Tyler Heckland, don't we?
No, we are. I will keep that chiseled jaw.
Teen Wolf was lousy with Tyler's because you had Tyler Posey.
Yeah, Tyler Posey. I kept it to one Teen Wolf. So
anyone that plays Superman can stick around and looks like that can stick around in my book.
Funny enough, I met him in Starbucks.
I will say keep, but I will say I would probably keep Posey over Hawkeye.
See,
okay.
I mean, I'm fine keeping them both, but if I had to choose, since we're trying to spark some sort of conversation here, Tyler Posey, I find a much more interesting actor and a more interesting person.
Have you watched Superman and Lois, Ty?
Oh, okay.
No, but I watched Jane the Virgin with Tyler Posey and Teen Wolf with both of them.
Okay, I'm gonna tell my suggestion. Watch
Superman and Lois. Don't tell me what happens though.
No, I'm not. No, it is honestly some of the best acting he's done, and that show is beautifully written. So
Tyler Posey,
and people also forget that
Tyler Posey.
I chose one. I like Tyler Heckland a lot.
I gotta say this: people forget Tyler Heckland was in the movie Hall Pass with Owen Wilson and Jason Sudeikis.
Tyler was Tyler Heckland.
Yes, it was the baseball. It was the baseball player the wife had the affair with.
Yeah. Everybody Wants Some is great too.
I love Everybody Wants Some. Such a good.
That's a very fun movie. It's that who did that?
Leo Logan. He was also Tom
Richard
Hanks' son in
Linklater,
Road to Perdition.
or-
Richard Linklater did that, and yes, he was in Road to Perdition. Right.
Dude's had a hell of a career.
Wyatt Russell, Glenn Powell. Don't get me started on Everybody Wants Some. This is a Westwood Young Guns movie.
We should have had a Westwood slice, a Westwood Young Gun slice.
Oh god!
And I mean, if I would have known what that whole situation was, we'd be having a whole different conversation. I would have happily talked about summertime in Westwood.
I would be on the floor dead right now.
So I had a bunch of other ones, but for the sake of time, Ty, I want to ask you, who are some of your favorite Tylers? We already haven't mentioned them. Tylers, Tys, Tyrones. There are a bunch of different other versions of Ty.
Well, I grew up in Michigan, so Ty Cobb was a big Ty for me.
I had Ty Cobb.
Unfortunately, Ty Cobb's legacy is not fantastic.
Very tarnished. Very tarnished.
Yes, Ty Cobb.
So
yep.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm sort of torn between being like he's the Ty to emulate and also the Ty to never emulate. But he does stick out as an important one. There's John Tyler, the 10th president of the United States. So Zachary Ty Bryan from Home Improvement.
That's another fun one. There's Steven Tyler.
I'm not sure he's that high on the list. I would put Steven Tyler ahead of Zachary Ty Bryan. I'd put Steven Tyler ahead of John Tyler. Probably a lot of baseball players named Tyler. Really sad when Tyler Skaggs died from the Angels.
Rest in peace, Tyler Skaggs. Horrible. That was a horrible situation.
That was that's one of me. And then who are these other Tylers that are?
We have another Liv Tyler, the actress Liv Tyler.
That's yeah.
Oh no, Leo, how dare you recommend Liv Tyler?
Ty Pennington.
Ty Sheridan, but Ty spells his name with an E.
Yes,
I like Ready.
he does.
I like Ready Player One well enough. I don't know if he's going to be a huge star, but
did you see him in the card counter this past year?
No, I was sick. I was sick the day I was in theaters.
The day. Oof.
No, I'm sure I'll see it at some point. But those are the big ties that.
But one
out.
tie.
Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden was a big thing because that movie came out right when I got into college, and so I got called Durden. I got called Durden quite a bit freshman year of college, and I wasn't sure if I liked that or not. But
in hindsight, are you a fan?
Hindsight, one of the best Tylers on film, I think. Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Word. But there's one tie that I guarantee all of us on screen will keep. And that's Ty Lieberman. Ty,
right.
Yes.
We kept you way longer than we should have. The sirens are going by. They're gonna come get me. I can't keep it too long.
Take us out. They're gonna take us out.
But Ty, thank you so much on coming on Spin from the Reel for the second time. Hopefully, it won't be the last time either.
Yes.
Well,
but you're gonna
have to call my people because that's how we do. That's how we do things now.
That's how we're doing it. And
but,
as long as they give me the opportunity, I'm gonna ask for you every time.
Absolutely.
Always good to support the Monday shows when everyone else has talked about everything for 4 days. I don't know how you find content, but you're doing it.
We do our best.
We're trying
because we got because we got that beautiful wheel. Thank you, Jacob Patrick.
It's like a First Take aired on a Thursday.
Yo, we're cool. We're cool with it. We talked about fashion.
That's pretty mean. I'm sorry.
We talked about fashion. We talked about.
We did. It was different.
We talked about ties, and we talked about some little movie trivia thing. It is. What it is. But Ty Lieberman, thank you so much.
Yes,
we appreciate your time, and we will see you very, very soon again on Friday Night Titans.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Titans with a Y, baby.
Titans with a Y. Later, Ty. Have a good night. Ty Lieberman.
I love Ty.
That was fun. That was super
Ty
fun.
Lieberman. What I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The cutting ties bit went way better than I thought it was gonna go.
Chris, I'm sorry you didn't know about Tyler Perry because I was about to be like, bro.
Oh no. I'm glad that was the one because I didn't want it to be like, oh yeah, like
let's keep them all.
Yeah,
No.
because Ty and Alice were like, "Oh, I don't know them," and then Tyler Perry came up.
You,
Like,
you
fuck
know
them.
all of his shows are not SAG sanctioned, right?
I know a decent amount about Tyler Perry, but at the same time, I can't tell you the last thing I've seen him in besides Star Trek. Oh, not. I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry.
Gone Girl.
Never seen it.
Alex Cross. You never saw Gone Girl? Man.
You get a quick view of Ben Affleck's dog in Gone Girl. Just so
Excuse
you know.
me, say it again.
You see Neil Patrick Harris get his throat slit during coitus in Gone Girl.
But you also get to see Ben Affleck's dog if you look close enough.
If I look close enough, did he
know
direct
when
that?
to
No, it's
look.
Fincher.
It's
I'm,
Fincher.
Fincher
I'm thinking of Gone Baby Gone.
Yes.
The answer from
That's one of the
Ty's
questions.
Match. Yes. But any other fun things from this past weekend you want to talk about, movie trivia related?
We said we get a fourth spin in for us.
Do we want to do a fourth one? It depends.
Well,
As long as go ahead. Yes, fuck it. Just do it.
Okay.
Maybe
if it lands on a repeat, I'm just saying.
Yeah, if it lands on something we already done, we're close and short.
Oh!
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I was hoping for let's talk about storyline, but I'll take it.
No, that's fine too. Mr. Irwin made his debut properly as his new persona this past Friday on Titans. And off rip, I feel bad for Janine. I know it's a different league now, but this is not the way I saw her season starting off with the loss.
And she was crushing it in that first round. And then you just have that one. It's crazy how I feel like, and there was Guy and Bateman were talking about it on Action Guys yesterday, and it makes total sense. The way that the point structures are done now with those 10 questions in round one as across the board, it really can't. It feels like that becomes a lot of the make or break it rounds rather than for the last few years, it's been the wheel round for singles and teams.
Right.
Because you're able to get that extra 2-point cushion, maybe 3-point if you go perfect.
Right. And now there's 10 questions instead of 8. So it's like even so there's even more that you have more opportunity to be great or more opportunity to screw up. The one thing that I noticed, and I love Janine, she had a hell of a run in the singles tournament, like a hell of a run.
Mm-hmm.
But you could start seeing her get a little frazzled.
Yeah.
And get a little stressed out. And once you're in your head, man, once you get into that head, it's just playing right into the hands of. We saw it when she went up against Kalinowski, and he got opponent's choice and gave him dance movies, right, or classics. It was one of those two. But you just watch him just literally crumble with that bad wheel round. So she's a great player. It just unfortunately didn't go her way. And and it almost feels like she kind of started to self-sabotage a little bit with the way that she had kind of started playing.
Yeah. And honestly, I know you're newer to everything. Before she was with Roxy, that's what tended to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Like she'd be starting off decently strong, and then it seemed like she would get in her head, and then the wheels would start to come off. I wish that we had Kaiser step in there like Roxy would at points last year with her. And Roxy has a great way of pulling her players out of that. She did it with Schneider. She did it with Janine. I just wish Kaiser had done that for her this match.
Right.
Well, 1,000%. And it was Janine's first match with Kaiser. So there's going to be like, they got to find their rhythm at some point. And it's her first match, but it's just disappointing, not on her end, but that she was put in this position, this big match. Granted, she deserved it off rip against Mr. Irwin, but Mr. Irwin is also this legend of the game, multiple time world champ, and you're going to face him in your first match of the year, second week of the season. And I echo Jeremy's point. Janine was doing well, but she lost her confidence, and that modern classics spin away from was a mistake. Granted, hindsight's 2020, But Matt, as my witness, last season I always bitched about courtroom and legal dramas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hated that category. I hated it because, like, I thought it was
super tough.
It was the death of some folks in matches last season. Like, it would really sink certain players' ships and their momentum. It's a tough category, and we saw what happened with Janine. We saw Janine struggle with it. She only got, what was that, 4 points out of it, and Ethan got Mr. Irwin got a 2-point steal from it, and Leo doubling down on Irwin cleaning up Sam Jackson slowly and it just goes to show you
those narrow slices versus those broad slices,
like what Ty was talking about.
Yeah, and how, like, you go from, I mean, and Samuel L. Jackson has a pretty wide range of films that he's been a part of. And you can make really hard questions, like how many MCU films has he portrayed Nick Fury? Like, you could like some thinkers, we have to like count them out or
sure
things like that. But again, it's knowing one filmography and maybe knowing you get the top builds that are in that film as well in case they come up in questions. But it's definitely a very different ball game. I'm sorry, guys. It came down with the cold, and my cold medicine's wearing off, so I'm starting to sound worse as this goes on.
See, the second title leads are going downhill quick.
I'm dying.
We're fine. Everything's fine.
But you can definitely, I mean, I think that right there is a prime example of the difference between that broad versus narrow slice. 100%.
No, totally. And you saw in Janine's demeanor, the second that she was down 19-12 going into round 3, it was going to be rough. And statistically, I don't know how many times Ethan's just shit the bed in round 3. So it's not looking good for you if you're playing, Mr. Irwin in round 3. But I was happy to see her get that double dragon question, because double dragon actually came up in my life like a couple months ago on, I think it was Red Letter Media. Shout out to Red Letter Media. But they were talking about double dragon, and again, here it is coming up in the 5-pointer, and that Mark Forster question in Pitt and Clooney, right? That she got. Yeah. The only reason I knew the answer to that movie was because the same guy that did World War Z is the same guy that did Christopher Robin, and I love Christopher Robin. For better or for worse, and I'm like, oh, it's Mark Forster, duh.
Yeah.
Christopher Robin's a cute movie.
I love it.
During her second round, when they asked the 12 Angry Men question, I looked at Frank with such confidence, and I went, I would challenge that, because which one are they talking about? And Frank goes, not the one that was the remake made for TV. And I went, never mind.
Immediately shutting you down. And,
immediately lost that challenge.
Right. But I felt bad for Janine. That was my one takeaway from this match, is that I feel bad for her.
Yes.
Like, again, she didn't play bad. Like, that courtroom legal drama it sinks. It kills anybody's momentum, and it has before. It has a hit in its short history being a category. It's been to the detriment of more people than it's helped them. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And now here we are in this new league. Yes, say what you want about the question difficulty. Say what you want about how things are looking or how they're structured. The questions can still be a little bit difficult, and Janine showed that in this game. Like missing the World War Z question, and with her struggling in the second round, but also you're going against Mr. Irwin, this new and improved Ethan Irwin that a version of him we'd never seen before.
Right.
And he's more intimidating now with Roxy as his manager than he ever has been before.
People need to stop sleeping on Roxy. I know she had a rough go with the Stars last season, but she's coming in hot. She's got Chandru. She now has Mr. Irwin. I mean, with what she did with Janine, what she was able to do with Janine last season, like.
See, I've never doubted her ability as a manager. Never. It's just I've doubted her ability to pick the right team members as a manager.
Right.
Sure. No, totally valid. And we saw that last year with her draft. Like that's the epitome of what Matt's talking about.
Right.
And I now with the confirmed couple members that she has, it's a hell of a way to start a faction with Mr. Irwin and with Chandru Dandapani. But what's next for both of them going forward is the big question. We don't know what the future is for Chandru now or Mr. Irwin on a potential title path. This is a whole new league, whole new season. We're rebooting everything. what does this mean when we're going back to Mr. Irwin hypothetically not picking up a W, picking up multiple W's, and we now know there's a number 1 contenders match this upcoming Friday on Titans. But when's Mr. Irwin going to get his due? If and when, it's a matter of time, especially if Mr. Irwin keeps picking up victories. So
and picking up big victories. That was a
notable win. Yes,
that was a big win, especially because she, regardless of how people feel, Janine came in as the number 3 in the league.
Yes,
because that's where she ended, right? So she's coming in pretty highly seated for this. Technically, she comes in as the favorite, right? If you're going based off of placement within the league, like if they ended round 1 tied, it would have been up to her. Let
me check that real quick.
I feel like it would have been maybe not.
It was 8-7 at the end of round 1,
right?
And then that's when.
But if they had tied, that's what I'm saying.
If they had tied, right?
As the third seed.
Yeah, because Ethan was 6th, so Ethan came in as.
So she was technically the
higher competitor. Yeah.
Right. So, she's. I think this is going to light a fire under her ass and she's going to come back with a vengeance. 100%.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I feel like her manager needs to I love Kaiser. He needs to step up like we've seen him do in the past.
Yes.
So, Chris, I want to ask you, because you're the resident storyline guy.
What's
here.
Up, Rue? We got Rue in the chat. Lastrina, Jeremy Millie. We got Bucks.
Yeah,
I see you laughing at me, Buck. I see that.
What did you think of Ethan's new character and kind of the storyline we're getting here with Roxy?
An Ethan Irwin heel turn, like fully fledged heel, coinciding with Chandru, the best heel arguably we've ever seen, depending on who you ask, and with Roxy Stryer with her little. I wouldn't say she was a baby face before, but she definitely started leaning, or she leaned towards that heel persona, starting off in this new era of the Schmodown. And I'm a fan. I love this new Mr. Irwin. The only thing that bothered me was his collar. Somebody fix his collar, god damn it. But I was like, but besides that, like the whole presentation of Mr. Irwin, if I was Mr. Irwin, I would have gotten shitty every time Mark called me big time. Because he made it a point in the beginning of that.
Yeah.
I'm not big time anymore, but I'm still close. I'm always closing. I'm not big time anymore. He's not. He transcended big time. Yeah. Big time was baby shit to him. He's transcended that. And now we see him with Roxy. And hopefully, like, they're still having Ethan do promos at the end of matches and stuff. If it's up to me, if I'm Mr. Irwin, have my manager speak for me. Why would I want to talk to folks?
I mean,
especially
and
after that dominant win that he had over Janine.
So you want him to do a Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns?
Well, Roman can definitely speak for himself.
I know, but so can Ethan. You've seen Ethan can. That's why I say.
Sure, no.
Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, I feel like he
put a cowboy hat on that man. He's a whole different dude, and I love it. But I think Mr. Irwin shouldn't even say a word. The only words he should be saying are the correct answers in his matches. That's how I would present the character. That's how I would go about being Mr. Irwin if I was. Granted, I'm nothing like Mr. Irwin. Nothing. I put on these glasses and this thing. I'm nothing like Mr. Irwin. But right. He is
a face.
Right. And
the biggest baby face.
But he transcended anything he's done before, whether it's with Sam or with Liz last season. I like this new Mr. Irwin. I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan. And Jeremy nailed it. He's a Bond villain. I want him to be
a lot of heel turns this season, it feels like. Or at
we
least
need them.
Heel reveals for sure.
There's a lot of shake ups in general. Like Smets being the biggest face now, as Christian likes to come after us after the show.
Come after you.
Hey,
not me, not Chris.
That was you.
Yeah, that was me.
I said he was a white hot baby face, and you said no, Chris, dumbass.
That was
like he's a white hot baby face.
That was you.
I was like, he's always been a tweener.
Not me.
Dude just came back from battling cancer, and you said he's gonna be a tweener.
I said he's always entertainer. I'd like to see what happens. We'll see what happens this season. Those are my words.
We ain't gonna see shit as long as Chris is on this thing. We're not gonna see anything. Like that's.
Dare I say it? Is the dungeon making a turn to a face faction?
Yes.
Clearly,
Kevin, you have
with
to.
With that cutscene today. Or with the Friday when they brought Gene in, I was like,
yeah, they got Janine. You got. I mean, to push him. You have.
It's so weird to think of Kaiser as a face now. It really is.
And you have the baby face of the year, Nikki DiMolata.
Yeah.
Right. So granted, the amount of Star Wars participation this year is gonna really piss me off and worry me over the course of the year.
The guy who didn't want Star Wars and Schmodown anymore.
Christian was talking to me when that. Now you want to point fingers at me. I was the guy that said, like, was it 2 seasons ago, Matt, when we started doing this show? I said
right before the tournament.
Right. I said I like Star Wars shouldn't be a division. It shouldn't. At the time, how it was being presented, how it was being booked, what was the point? And then that damn Twitch tournament happened. The reason why the show spawned the way it did, we're talking about Star Wars every damn week. And now here we are. You know, it
and all I
grew
want
into
is
this life
more
of its
Star
own.
Wars because of the DiMolantas, the Damons, the Harpers, the Gold Leaders, like the Laura Kellys, like all these people that have made it fun to watch and like make me actually want to go back and watch Star Wars movies.
They went about it differently in the pandemic, and it was for the better. And now that we're going back to in-studio stuff and they're taking it away, I'm like, wait a minute, wait.
Little buzz.
Speaking of which, we are sad to announce you will not be able to see any of the members of Spin from the Real at Star Wars Celebration for that Star Wars movie.
So
damn.
Happen.
None of us could.
That was a thought for a minute.
The tickets go on sale tomorrow, yes, but none of us can afford the hotels, the flights,
the travel, the airfare.
It's an expensive trip,
and then the ticket to not just the actual event they'll do on the side, but the celebration on the day that event's going to happen, which we don't know. It's probably going to be Friday, because Christian will probably ask for it to be Friday. Funny enough, it does hurt me a lot because if it weren't for Star Wars Celebration Schmodown, this show wouldn't be a thing, and I really wanted to be there. But it's like, why? I'm going on a slight little off tangent that still connects to this. Why do you put tickets to an event on sale 2.5 months before the event's going on? Like, I get you were probably trying to hold off till we got closer to it, but like, you still could have put them back on sale and done the refund thing again if we had shut down again.
What are you gonna do?
We would have all set aside the money for it. So
y'all go right ahead.
Saber Reels, you'll subscribe to the channel. You'll see Saber Reels, and no, seriously, like it's Star Wars Celebration is a big reason. It's the reason why the show exists. And
that's where we met. Like
I like it's the whole Star Wars conundrum in regards to the Schmodown. I saw folks on the subreddit talk about it. I forget, it was like last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever the conversation was happening. But if y'all want it, vocalize it. I know our buddy Shug, he was also on that train of, if you want it, say something about it. And I will keep saying something about it until
I want it.
Hopefully something changes.
That's my favorite division. It's one of my favorite. I started writing questions for FCL this week. That is I do primarily Star Wars and IG when I write questions. Star Wars is the first thing I went to, and I've done some IG stuff because I'm excited about that, and I like that. It sucks. Primarily, if you want Star Wars matches, it looks like FCL is going to be the way to go, which I'm not upset about, but
it's still like, it just still pisses me off. But moral of the story, Nikki DiMolanta is on the dungeon. You are 100% correct, Allison.
Yes. Tangent, folks.
Nailed it right on the head. No, but seriously, this the Janine the Machine and Dungeon face turn that's happening, or I wouldn't even say Janine was a heel before, but this whole face faction that we have. Yeah, you mentioned it a little bit ago, Allison. We have a lot of heels. We have a ton of bad guys, which is good. We needed them.
Ton
we
of
need
heel
some
turns
more.
coming in hot.
But we also, at the same time, I want the Schmodown to establish who these top faces are. And Janine's one of them. Marisol, I'm presuming, is going to be one of them. Kevin and whoever the hell else that chooses to be face, chooses to be our heroes in this journey. in the movie trivia schmodown, then okay, great. But as of right now, a lot of bad guys. You have a lot of bad guys. And
I'm living for it. I'm loving it. I truly, as someone, again, I mean, I know I say it all the time, but like coming in through digital and not and hearing about all of this and going back and watching certain matches, and I keep thinking how much fun that would have been to experience the first time around, like when it first came when it first went live, you know. So I feel like I'm finally getting that experience with season 9, and I'm here for it. I mean, any complaints or anything like that I have is all really kind of surface level shit. It's not anything that's
same.
You know, it's not anything within the schmodown. Or I love that I'm able to play along with these questions.
Yes.
Like when I tell you that I was excited for having Vision Quest right, I was so ecstatic. Like it literally, like, I mean, yelled it to where the point, like, Frank looked at me, he was like, 1, why the fuck do you know that movie? And 2, we have neighbors. Like, you got to stop yelling. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
So to be able to like play along and like the Harry Potter questions, do a bunch of those, like that was super fun to do. And it's been super fun, but it's also really, I and I know I feel like I toot the horn of the question writers all the time, but seriously, hashtag.
No, Matt loves it. Go ahead.
Hashtag team question writers, because they really are this season doing such a good job to where it is everyone is able to play along. There's gonna be something that I'm gonna go there's never lately there has not been a single match yet where I haven't gotten a couple of questions right, which is fun for me. Whereas the way that last season was and how competitive it got, I didn't really get a whole lot of the questions right, which is fine. I still enjoyed watching it because I still enjoyed watching the people that were playing. But now that I actually get to play along and be a part of it, I'm having way more fun than I had last season. I still had fun last season, but now like I'm really understanding why people love this so much. Like I enjoyed it, but now I honestly can say like absolutely love it, and I get it, and I'm on board, and I'm ready to see where it goes next. But can we not use those heavy duty fog machines again? Because it looked like Lethal Weapon 5 was about to.
It looked like Doug Benson never left the studio. Am I right?
Yeah, it had that haze of smoke, like it was an Afro Man concert or something going on.
Yo, it's nice. But I was very, besides the, like I told you before we started recording, before we went live, that I had some like little issues. Like I wouldn't even say problems, because I love the Titans presentation. Like I was on board with it from the jump, having it all be this one cohesive show. Great, cool, and it works. We're 2 weeks in. Granted, it can go to shit within weeks, but we're 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
And I think they've done a very good job of handling it. My 2 things, one a smaller problem than the other. The first thing, those thumbnails.
Thumbnails are great.
I know that the Titans ones, like individually, it's weird seeing like, why is Samuel L. Jackson playing Kristen Stewart in movie trivia? You know, like that's it doesn't give off, it gives off that vibe to me. Granted, I'm well aware that it's not the case, obviously.
Right.
But I'm like, that's weird. I get what they're doing, but but this is also coming from a guy who was I was a fan of, and I've gone through the motions of putting the competitors in the thumbnails, seeing who's competing and all that jazz.
Yeah, it's
right.
At least them being the focal point of the dummy.
At the same time, the point is we don't, outside of the first match, we don't know who's competing.
And and that's totally fine. Like, and I said, I understand this is me nitpicking and being a dick about it.
At the same time, since we know who the first match is, I can get the idea of at least putting your headliners on there.
Sure. Like we knew that Janine and Erwin were going to get this thummy, and the next week or this upcoming Friday, it's going to be Barbarian and Sam Levine.
Yeah. Which I think we've already started getting a poster for as well. They've already started kind of putting it out there.
And they were on Rundown this past Saturday. They've been promoting the shit out of it for obvious reasons. This is a big deal. Number 1 contender, Sam Levine's return match. It's a lot of hype. Yeah. But the second thing that I don't think this, we've talked about this enough, whether it's just us privately or on the show, but the transparency that the Schmodown has had with us fans, it's starting to bother me. Not that we need to really it needs to stop. But it takes me out of it, you know? Like, I don't want Vince McMahon telling me, oh, I prefer this superstar, this superstar, this superstar. You're going to see more of them going forward. I don't want Vince telling me that, for all my wrestling fans out there. Like, I get why Christian has to be transparent with us, because we are the life preserver of all of this. But like, if he like dials it back a little bit, I think it'd be for the better of all of us as fans watching the product, solely because I don't want to know I don't want to know everything going in the Titans. I don't want to know how highly Christian feels about Marisol or about Janine, to use those just them as examples. Like, I want them to be built up as they used to. And this is, again, coming from a guy I was watching since Sack-Off and Knapsack all that time ago. Yeah. Like, I get why you say your things now, but it rubs me the wrong way sometimes, especially with what info's being released.
I think the transparency kind of ties into the thumbnails a bit, because I know personally something I always loved is not knowing what questions are going to show up. I see Harry Potter, Kristen Stewart, and Samuel L. Jackson on a thumbnail. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to hear some questions. Someone's probably going to land on Harry Potter,
sure,
Samuel, and maybe new releases, because that's her and Spencer. So,
sure, right. And like, I understand the transparency. You almost have to be. This is a special case with us in the Schmodown, because we're a little bit more involved than a typical fan would be in a sport or in some form of entertainment. But I don't want to know a lot of the nitty gritty. And even if I'm not a part of the Patreon, even if I'm not a part of the Q&As, whatever the hell, it's gonna be on the Facebook. It's gonna be on the subreddit. Right. It's gonna be on Twitter. I'm gonna see it, and it's gonna be hard to avoid. But we don't have to know everything. So it's I shouldn't say everything. Christian should start keeping more things close to the chest.
No, they are not. What Chris and I are both talking about are the main Friday Night Titans thumbnails, where all we have are the pictures of characters from movies that have questions asked about them.
And that's just me bitching about not seeing my favorite people on thumbnails anymore, Sean. Like, it's not even just like, oh, why is Kristen Stewart on the thumbie? So like, I don't want to make it seem like
those are what Chris and I
right. I'm talking about the Titans ones. Right. Like, I'm not, again, that's just me bitching about, like, why isn't Janine on the thumbnail? Or on the Titans thummy?
Jeremy Miller has the same thing as me. Thumbnails are fine, but it's Boyle's questions. Granted, it hasn't been a 5-pointer, but still, yeah. And I like the surprise. I like not being able to expect something coming up. I just like people who come to watch this know what they're getting into. You are calling it the World Championship Movie Trivia. You're trying. We have to go through PR firms now to get these people, make these people the face like they were before. That's
right.
And and again, this may be just my brain, my day one brain, where, like, you told me we're going back to what things used to be like for the most part. Okay, great. And my brain immediately went back to that. And I know that formula didn't work before, so you're going to do something different. Totally understand. Like, and I'm not going to stop watching because the thumbnails look a certain way, right? Like, I'm invested. I care. If I didn't care, right, I wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
But
it spoils some of the surprise and the fun that goes along with it. That's all you're saying.
Right. I don't want Christian Harloff or whoever is like the higher ups over at the Schmodown or Skybound, whoever the hell. I don't want them to tell me like, oh yeah, like we are like, I don't want to know the nitty gritty. Tell me on Titans.
Yeah.
Tell me on Titans. I don't like through cutscenes. Christian was in the cutscenes past week.
Yeah.
Like, show me more.
Yeah.
Don't tell me on a Patreon Q&A. Don't tell me on a damn subreddit thread. Show me. Granted, I know some things you got to give to your people that pay for the thing. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to act like I don't get it. But not everything needs to be told to them first. There are some things that deserve to be surprises, and that should be on Titans. Not saying there hasn't been any. So that's just my thing. Again, I don't want Vince McMahon telling me how high he is on Austin Theory. I want Raw and SmackDown to show me, and So that's my thing.
Can I pivot real quick to AEW and say
Yeah.
that Orange Cassidy is my spirit animal?
Yeah, no, we love freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. We do.
I was watching the AEW pay-per-view when we were up in Chicago.
Revolution,
the day after I got caught sleeping on the couch at the party that I was at.
Wakanda Forever. Do we have that pulled up? No, we don't.
I sent them to Matt, so it's a good time.
Where? Yeah,
my bad.
It's fine. You're fine.
But no, the amount of I don't care attitude and just like wrestling with his hands in his pockets, I'm living for.
Real quick, can I pull up Jeremy Miller's comment and then we'll
sure, yeah, please.
Jeremy Miller has a point. Retitling the video would help. I don't think it's gonna Friday. I don't think they're gonna gain audience from Friday Night Titans. Insert episode number here. It should have been Janine versus Irwin, and he's right. That kind of harkens back to what I said about featuring the talent, because, like I said, we know who the main card is going to be going into every week. It seems like we find that out next week, and what the unknown thing is the undercard. So
right.
You can say Friday Night Titans. And just beef up that title and get people more excited. Friday Night Titans episode 1, Irwin versus and then I mean it's can some people say that's nitpicky stuff? Yeah, but like at the end of the day, I'll say this: I'm forgetting the word for it. The description fits perfectly. It's like, tonight's main event is Mr. Ethan Irwin versus the Jenny Machine last week. And it gives a recap of what happened previously.
I do love the previously on bit.
Yes,
I love that.
That was good.
Because I get they're trying to sell us more of a television show, and that's working for me. So yeah, bless them for that. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people kind of feel similarly. So,
and Mike, I see your comment about like the PR thing being why you stopped watching. Like I see the frustration. Yeah. There's a lot of change, and I get why people would stop. I get why people jump back on. Like there's been a lot of that too, and the numbers for Titans have been better.
Titans episode 1 was 23K views. Titans episode 2, granted we're only 3 days in compared to 10 days in, is at 10K right now.
Right, like they're doing better than what they were doing last year. And maybe, again, it's the presentation and then putting it all together as one show instead of separate videos, at least until later in the week. But it's again, we're very early on. We can revisit this in 6 months and see what happens. But it's a lot of nitpicky things. I'll be the first person to admit that my issues are nitpicky, very much nitpicky.
Otherwise, I'm with you. Like Chris, when we started the show, it was always from the mindset of the story guy. The guy who cares about the sports side of thing, and then we were able to bring it to the middle. Now I'm more in the middle. You're still very much the storyline driven guy, and I'm
just having so much fucking fun.
And Allison just loves Orange Cassidy, which I don't blame her. Like, which I also do.
So many things. I love this community. I love you guys. I love all the friends I've made, and so I'm just excited to be along for the ride and just kind of keep it going. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen this week on Friday Night Titans. With this number 1 contender match. It's going to be good. Barbarian, he's put in a lot of work. He's put in a shit ton of work.
Who you got? You're so confident. Who you got?
I know. Well, because it's hard, right? Like I've never watched Sam Levine compete. Ever, right? I've only
Allison, we are giving you homework before this next match.
Oh, what's your go-to Sam Levine match, Matt? That's a good question.
Ooh,
what's your go-to Sam Levine match?
I gotta think about that.
Well, what I was going to say is, but from what I've watched when I've seen him at the live events, and and other people have said it too, like when you watched him during the title match with Amaru and Kalinowski, where he was answering questions right along with Amaru and right along with Kalinowski. So he clearly knows his stuff, and he's clearly been keeping up with a lot of it. Now, again, it's grown since the last time he played. So do I think it's going to be a really tough match? Absolutely. Would I like to see Barbarian get it? 100%, because I would love for him to have a title shot. Because I've really loved you can see the amount of work, because he would have had that one for Spectacular had he.
It's that speed round.
It was that speed round killed him. So at least now with the number one contender, it's only 3 rounds, right?
Yeah.
It's not a tournament. So at least that's what I've been told. Like that's a number one contender.
Yeah. You know better than me. I don't know shit. Yeah.
So at least we don't have that kind of kryptonite hanging over our heads, but I think he's still going to crush it. I think he's one of those who learns from mistakes. So
you got Barbarian.
We'll go from there.
So here, I'm giving you two episodes of Schmodown to watch before next week.
Boom.
Okay.
I'm giving you the Sam Levine John Roca match because that's a perfect example of how tactical Sam is.
Okay.
That's Chris. You know which match that is?
I'm well aware of what you're talking about.
The Heady match. Heady. And then the Sam Levine versus Clark Wolf 2.
Okay.
Talk
about a badass woman. I love Clark Wolf.
I miss Clark.
I see her on Twitter all the time, and she liked one of my comments and responded to it, and it made me feel really happy. And I was like, "You're a beautiful human being. I want to be just like you when I grow up."
When you grow up. So Allison, after you had your little soliloquy about the both of them, I'm assuming you're picking Barbarian solely because of your ignorance to Sam's matches and how he plays. Ignorance, not the bad word.
You said that with such vitriol. Your ignorance to Sam Levine's matches. You made a heel turn.
Let's move on from that We're already running over.
We're gonna run over. I have Sam winning the match on Friday. Granted, I have nothing to base that on. Sam's been gone for years.
But we've seen just talking to people like Paige and Amaru who have been in study sessions with him. They're like, nah, Sam still knows this. They're like, Sam still knows this shit.
Sam was visibly pissed off when Amaru was missing questions against Kalinowski.
Yeah.
So that he got that fire still.
I mean, when I was lucky enough to go to underbelly of Spectacular, I could hear Sam talking about questions. I'm like, okay.
I got nothing to base that off of.
But I would love to see Barbarian win. Is where I'm kind of. Which is why I have him. Which is why I'm going with the Barbarian, with the one that I've been able to watch and see grow through it all.
Oh, no, he's good. I'm stupid. Maybe somebody else talking about it. It wasn't Sam. Anyways.
Okay.
This is his 50-50 one for me. I want to go with Sam, but I'm afraid Ring Rust is going to be there. And I know Craig is. Who? I remember Craig the Barbarian talking about how he felt very confident because Christian has put it out there. There was a situation where Griffey Newman almost didn't play.
Right.
And Craig would have played. And I remember talking to some people afterwards, and Craig was like, I could have been there. So, I'm gonna go with Craig based off of recency bias. I think he personally has a lot to prove to himself and in his mind the fans, because he has been a guy who people haven't given the right respect to in my eyes, and I'm a big proponent for him. So yeah, I got the Barbarian in this.
And both of y'all picking Barbarian. I'm picking Sam blindly. I don't know. Ring Rust has been very on and off for Schmodown competitors over the last few years when people have gone away. Shit, we just saw it with Whitney. Whitney's been away for a while, and he played like he never left.
Yeah.
So
it depends on the person, it seems like.
Exactly. So y'all picking Barbarian, like what Matt said, it's 50-50. Barbarian's given y'all enough reason to pick him. And Matt nailed it right in the head with him not getting the respect that he's due over the last few years. And that singles tournament run shut a lot of people up in regards to their feelings in the Barbarian. So I totally get y'all. Part of me is picking Sam because I think a lot of the fans are rallying for him to be the Sam that left when he was on top. But again, I don't know.
But don't get me wrong. I would love to see Sam win. Because Chris, you for the longest, when we first started the show, who was I calling the GOAT?
Sam.
Precisely. So it would please the hell out of me to see Sam win, because I'd be like, the GOAT's back.
We'll see, baby. We'll see.
But with that, we went a little over tonight. It happened.
Okay.
We had a fantastic guest. We had a lot of good conversation, and maybe we should start ending with a little bit of general just talk from around the league, because I think we were able to
We were doing so damn good with not talking about next week's show.
Yeah.
Without having a fucking production meeting on.
God bless America. So damn it, Matt.
I had to. It's on the
God
bingo
damn
card,
it.
man.
We'll talk about. Yes, fine, but we'll talk about it later.
But with that, folks, remember, spin from the reel and not the peg. Have a good night.